Hi everyone, and welcome to Algebra Concepts. Last week when we met on Orientation Day, I gave you a little bit of background about the class and the expectations. Next time we're in person, I will go over some of those again. Let's jump right in and get started. The beginning of every school year seems to start with a bit of review, which is great because we could all use a little review. So in Lesson 1, we're going to talk about variables and expressions. And our goals will be that we're going to do some translations from one form to another. So before we do any translating, let's talk about the different types of expressions. There are three basic types. They're the verbal expressions, which consist of all words, numeric, which has numbers and symbols, and algebraics, which have those numbers and symbols, but they also have variables. And you should remember from a previous class that variables are just letters that represent numbers. So a verbal expression might be something like this, 2 plus 1. I take that to numeric, and I might be having something like 2 plus 1, numbers and operations. If I want to make that algebraic, I might have 2 plus x. So when we see the different types of expressions, we're looking at something that we will translate from one form to the other. Before we get to the translations, let's just see if we can identify the different types of expressions. You might want to pause, copy these problems or these expressions in your notes, and tell me if they are verbal, numeric, or algebraic. Okay, so now that you've had a chance to try them, let's see how you did. The first one has numbers. Now I don't see an operation symbol, but we should remember that parentheses indicate multiplication, so this would be a numeric. My next one, I see all words, and that tells me it's verbal. Number 3 has an addition symbol. It also indicates multiplication with that 5x. That variable x tells me it's an algebraic expression. Sometimes it's called a variable expression. This next one is 36 divided by x, sometimes seen in this form. And again, I see the operation division, and I also see a variable, excuse me. So that makes this an algebraic. Going on to number 5, 2 to the 4th power, it's a numeric. Now, you might be asking, well, you don't see an operation symbol, but this expanded is multiplication. X squared plus 3x. Again, I see a power, I see multiplication, I see addition and variables, and that gives me algebraic. So there we have some good examples of our different expressions. Now to the translations. I want you to create in your notebook, once again, a 2x2 grid, okay? We're going to create a table. We're going to title each of the boxes add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And I would like you to think of all the words that you've seen or heard that tell you that this is the operation you want to perform. I'm not going to put any answers in here because when we have our Zoom lesson, that's when you'll share your responses. So you'll take a few minutes out to complete that before our next live session. Again, it's a table that you'll design either in your OneNote or in your notebook. You'll label each with these categories, and you'll come up with the words or phrases that indicate that you will be doing those operations. Speaking of translations, here's where we get to the actual translating. I'm really, at this point, just going to go from the verbal to the algebraic. We'll do the other in person. When you looked at your list of words, hopefully these are part of your list. Again, I'd like for you to take a moment out, copy down the actual phrase that you see from 1 to 6, and then write your translation next to it. And when you're done, unpause the video and see how you did. Time to check. The words product, all right, when we think about that list, means multiply. So the product of 6 and 10, I could have 6 parentheses 10, or I could have 6 with a dot 10. I'm not going to use that times symbol because it looks too much like the variable x. The difference of 9 and 20. Now, in this first one, I could have reversed this and had 10 times 6, but in the second one, order matters. The difference of 9 and 20 is 9 minus 20. Number 3, sum of a number. So again, I had product, I had difference, I have sum. Sum indicates addition, so the sum of a number and 3. Again, can be the same as 3 plus x. Order does not matter with multiplication or addition. It does with subtraction and division. A number decreased by 5. A number decreased by 5. Next we have quotient of a number and 2. The quotient of a number and 2. Again, sometimes you'll see it with a division symbol. Most of the time in algebra, it will be this first way with the division line. And number 6, the square of a number increased by, tells me add 4. So look back, compare your answers, and see how you did. Translations, very important when we start to solve word problems, knowing how to set up an expression to an equation in order to solve. Short lesson today. Now I want you to go back to your Canvas page, find the assignment, and you can practice. We'll have our live Zoom lesson. We'll go over this in more detail. And until then, have a nice day. Thanks.